Recently, Europe has overtaken the United States as the largest consumer of coke in the world. It's because of these guys. In Europe, the Albanian Mafia is king of the hill. They run things a little different to other cartels. Instead of starting wars with their competition, they create business opportunities so that everyone gets rich. Reports have also mentioned that they are the most organized cartel. They're sophisticated, clever, and always deliver. Although they sit on top of the £5 billion UK coke trade, it seems incredible that this small country on the southeast edge of Europe, with a population of 2.8 million, has this vast network and is able to supply 90% of Europe's coke market. To understand why this small country on the southeast edge of Europe became the main distributor for the billion-dollar coke trade, we must go back to the late 1940s. It was after World War II that Albania became a satellite state for the Soviet Union. Enver Hoxha became the leader of the newly established People's Republic of Albania until the death of Joseph Stalin, Premier of the Soviet Union, in 1953. It was then that Soviet-Albanian relations began to deteriorate. They quickly adopted relations with other communist countries, including the People's Republic of China. It was during this period that Albania experienced an economic boom led by industrialization and urbanization. This gave its residents a much higher standard of living. But then, it all came crashing down. In the mid-90s, a vast majority of economic resources were poured into pyramid schemes that were widely supported by the government, to which at one point a third of Albania's population had invested in. Despite warnings from the International Monetary Fund, Sali Berisha, the president of Albania at the time, kept encouraging his citizens to stay put, with many selling their homes for the cash to invest. In 1996, the schemes began to collapse, prompting the people of Albania to violently revolt against their government. And in March 1997, the police and Republican Guard had deserted their armories. They were quickly emptied by militia and criminal gangs. After the fall of communism in the 90s, organised crime in Albania thrived. Neither state nor police interfered. A 2003 report states Albania is a paradise for the illegal trade, also suggesting that you can easily buy politicians and that it's not uncommon for a leader of a gang to work in a state institution. For many years, the Albanians were couriers for Turkish gangs. Up until the late 90s, when an influx of Albanians began migrating to Western Europe. This led to the creation of widespread organised crime networks, resulting in the Albanians taking over the entire illicit trade coming into Western Europe via the Balkans. It was at this point that Albania's economy heavily depended on the drug trade, making it Europe's only narco-state. For years, the leading gangs of Europe bought their coke supply from Dutch wholesalers at €22,500 per kilo. They would in turn sell it for a much higher price on the street. The Albanians ditched that entire model and began negotiating directly with the Colombian cartels who ran the coca production. They started importing huge amounts directly from South America and kept their supply chain in-house. a strategic move that led to the Albanians dominating the market, swooping in with their much lower prices, but a higher purity products. They were able to buy the coke at €5,000 per kilo, smashing their competition. With this direct line to the manufacturer, they approached rival gangs with business opportunities instead of violence. A move that turned out to be the smartest in drug trafficking history, making the Albanian Mafia the kings of the coke trade in Europe.